very much and good morning. I would like to acknowledge also the indigenous people, the Aboriginal people who are the custodians of this land. And I would like to pay my respect to the indigenous elders, past and present. Well, Honorable My Commission, Minister for Commerce and Attorney General, Your Excellencies, I would like to thank senators, delegates, thank you. Welcome to Perth for those who have come from far. Without going through the list again, I think I'll leave this to Honorable My Commission to acknowledge all the other excellencies, and also thank you the U.S. Consul General, Cynthia Griffin, Jen Anderson, Director East Africa from DFAT. You've come all the way from Canberra. Thank you for being here. I think I would like to do a bit of housekeeping. Could you please, if you have not turned off your mobile phones, could you please turn off your mobile phones? And also the restrooms. If you go out, right to the back wall, behind the, I think behind the Austrade booth, that is where the restrooms are. So, in fire exit, when you go out, you'll be able to just follow the sign. Thank you very much. Honorable My Commission will be our first speaker for this session. He'll speak about Australia's growing interest in East Africa oil and gas. That will be, then he'll be followed by the Honorable Minister Teodros Gebre Exiabel, State Minister. I think I'm good. Yeah, the State Minister for Mines, Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. And following that, we will have a conference launch, which I will introduce a bit later, but I would like to welcome Minister My Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Custer. Thank you, Stephen. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure and a great delight to have the opportunity to open the inaugural East Africa Oil and Gas Conference in Perth. And as Custer has landed me with the responsibility of going through the list of acknowledgements again, I'll do so. And of course, there are a lot of very prominent and distinguished people here this morning, and I can't go through them all. But I think that it is a tribute to the organisation that has taken place to arrange for this conference and to bring here some of the major representatives of East Africa and the topics that we are talking about today. And of course, there's a speaker of the Kenyan Senate, the Honourable Ekwe Eturo, the Senator Agnes Zani, the chairperson of the Ad Hoc Committee, Her Excellency Ambassador Salome Sijaona, Ms. Cynthia Griffin, the US Consul General, His Excellency Isaiah Kabira, High Commissioner of Kenya, His Excellency Ariga Tefera, Ambassador of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and his Minister for Mines, Teodros Gebre Eziagba. I'm sorry if I have got that wrong, but I expect that you get a lot of people getting it wrong. You'll try having a name like Mission. And many others. And you will have speaking at this conference the Honourable Bill Marmin, MLA, the Western Australian Minister for Mines and Petroleum. I'd also like to especially thank the organisers of this particular conference, Tanzania's Tourism Goodwill Ambassador in Australia, in particular Dr. Kasta Tungaraza, for all of her efforts in organising this very unique opportunity. And it fits at a time when we're about to have the Africa Down Under conference, and indeed there is a session next week involving Francophone Africa and the opportunities that are offered by that segment of that continent. So Africa is an emerging economy, it's an emerging centre of world interest, particularly in the resource industry. And I want to touch on some of the opportunities that are offered by that continent and that will benefit not only the people in it, but the global economic community in general. And the main interest, of course, from an oil and gas conference is the dependence on hydrocarbons. And the global dependency on hydrocarbons is expected to continue for many years, with global energy consumption forecast to increase by some 41% from 2012 through to 2035. 95% of this growth in demand is expected from emerging economies. The significant natural gas deposits discovered off the coast of East Africa certainly warrant this area being labelled as the world's newest energy hotspot. These gas finds have attracted a large amount of interest due to their size and also their proximity to major importers. While exploration activity in Africa is at its highest level ever, the region still remains largely underexplored and therefore underexploited. Africa currently supplies approximately 12% of the world's oil and possesses untapped reserves estimated at 8% of the world's proven resources. To give you an idea of how significant those deposits are, in the last 2 years, more hydrocarbons have been discovered in East Africa than anywhere else in the world, with estimates of 440 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. By comparison, Western Australia's northwest shelf contains an estimated 33 trillion cubic feet. East Africa's resource deposits provide the potential for important investment and commercial opportunities, not only in the upstream market, but also in a number of other sectors that will see an increase in demand, such as mining and services. Australian companies are already involved in the region as both operators and joint venture partners on several projects. Australia has the fourth largest liquefied natural gas industry in the world, and the Western Australian experience with major gas projects is able to provide invaluable expertise and knowledge of the industry that will assist the achievement of and ensure the success of the emerging East African oil and gas market. While this new market is seeing rapid progress and an influx of interest from every oil and gas organisation, the region is not without its challenges. Sadly, East Africa remains one of the world's poorest and least developed regions, with high levels of poverty, disease, limited infrastructure, and a low median population age. Accordingly, a number of challenges will need to be overcome to ensure that extraction of its rich deposits are able to reach operational level and benefit the people of that region. These include the shortage of skilled labour, the management of local community expectations of a share of wealth and benefits, gaining access to global supply chains, and the creation of crucial infrastructure such as roads, railways, air transport, schools and hospitals. As this infrastructure will largely be reliant on foreign investment, the experience of Western Australian companies can contribute to finding region-specific solutions. With new licensing rounds in Tanzania and Mozambique expected in 2013-14 and the commencement of LNG sales in 2020, there is an enormous amount of work that will be required. And this conference will enable Australian and African companies to explore oil and gas opportunities in East Africa and to discuss and exchange knowledge on matters important to the region, such as security, risks, and social and economic conditions. A major issue to be addressed is how do international investors, representatives of international and regional organisations, and leaders of governments and local communities translate the region's economic promise and employment opportunities and sustainable economic stability and wealth into reality. The ambitions for those are enormous, the opportunities are enormous. It's how to get it done in the most effective and efficient way that is the challenge. And East Africa can draw on the experience of Western Australian companies into achieving those ends. Working with governments to improve policies and strengthen development, as well as with the private sector to assist in understanding potential markets and to connect to supply chains, will provide real opportunities for both the region and international companies. One of the keys, it seems to me, is the access to supply chains to provide local input to those developments that are taking place in those regions. It's an area that Western Australia is very concerned about, and we frequently have concerns that although there is a large amount of work going on, not enough of it is being used by, is going towards local industries. But of course the keys to those sorts of things is to build the capacity of those local industries in order to contribute to those projects in a cost-effective and a manner, and also to a standard that is required. And Western Australia can provide its experience as a government to East African governments in order to assist with that process as well. Responsive governments committed to improving the business environment can help companies of all sizes, and the positive steps taken by the governments in East Africa continue to attract investors and ensure that the emerging gas industry will provide continued benefits. This conference, as I mentioned, provides an important and welcome opportunity to be involved in this exciting era in East Africa's history. During this East Africa Oil and Gas Conference, eminent speakers, government officials and company representatives will cover a broad range of issues, including exploration, development, production, joint ventures, existing and emerging projects, new opportunities, investment, logistical supplies and region-specific regulations. I'm sure that you'll enjoy and benefit from the key presentations from speakers such as Mr. Peter Coleman, CEO and Managing Director of Woodside Energy, who I understand will be speaking, Mr. Charles Tanui, Managing Director of Kenya Pipeline, and of course my colleague, the Honourable Bill Marmion, MLA, Western Australia's Minister for Mines and Petroleum. I look forward to this being a successful conference. I know from a previous life as a barrister that if things go smoothly in court, it's because a lot of work has been going on behind the scenes to make it so. A lot of preparation, a lot of commitment, a lot of time. And for a conference such as this to be organised, and for one to be a success, and for things to run smoothly in it, means that there's an awful lot of people who have done an awful lot of work. Usually one or two people do most of it. But I hope that you will take the opportunity to use this conference to network, to form connections, to exchange knowledge and experience, to realise that the problems that you may be facing are not ones isolated to yourselves, but there are others that are sharing those problems, and you can work towards a common solution to your mutual benefit. And so I hope that you have a very worthwhile, very productive conference, but also an enjoyable one, and take the time out to enjoy the things that the city of Perth could have to offer. And thank you to the organisers, thank you to Dr. Tungaraza, and to all those who have helped make it possible. And I hope that it will be